Welcome to Brawlhalla.
Just taking the whole world by storm, like, hey, here I am, here we are, I'm here to play, I'm at the top of the game right now, and it is my time to shine.
Starting off, Impala is able to get the first pick of the weapon. Wrench certainly to follow afterwards, though. Is starting to get a bit of a download. Chase dodge up into Nair is going to catch quite a few dodges, but it's still a great way to start. Wrench struggling with the Nairs. I'm pretty sure you all have seen that clip on Twitter, right? Where Blaster's Nair is a true combo on a fresh stock. You all have seen that clip where the DI kicks in?
Yeah, I've seen that clip a couple of times, but it seems it won't matter because you were talking about Blaster Nair, how about Spear Dare? That managed to get the Gimp onto Wrench off the bottom of the stage for his first stock of the tournament, of the stream so far, but Wrench quickly making that back with the Blasters. Let's go! Getting the D-Light recovery. I'm a simple Blaster players, okay? I'm sorry.
So even though Wrench lost that first stock pretty unfortunately, it's the fact that Wrench was able to answer back so quickly, and even though they suffered losing that stock very early, it's still an even game. If anything, despite the fact that Impala took that first stock so quickly, the game state might still be kind of a bit in favor of Wrench, because he's slowly proven, like, anything you can throw at me, I can answer back at, and anything that you try, any box you try to shove me in, I'm just going to reverse it on you. This lead is slowly starting to build up in Wrench's favor, but once we got the bow in Impala's hand, I don't think maybe it was the spear really kind of giving him a good edge in this competition, in this match. It might actually have to be the bow, at least for the KO, which has been doing some pretty good damage, especially against guitars. It's always good to hold off any damage that guitars is able to pull up for its own weight, but still, we might see Signature come out unless Wrench is able to follow through with the read. Not quite, but chases off stage.
Yeah, and Wrench, I'm really surprised about how this has been going. I 100% thought that Blaster Dare was going to hit, but no, Impala manages to interrupt it with the bow Nair to kill him off the top of the stage, and Wrench is doing a really good job at keeping this an even game. He was the one expected to, like, lose this set, you know, but honestly, he has just been going pretty crazy. Nice side sig coming out from Wrench to take Impala down to his last stock, and he decides to stick onto the guitars while Impala picks up the bow. And then he goes off stage. It's a very dangerous spot to be in against Wrench.
This is for the first game in the set. Both these players being very, very ambitious off the side of the stage. Wrench, I think, is really just trying to throw Impala off the stage because Impala's been the one returning back to stage. We do have another weapon. Impala's starting to put some space in between the two. Still not quite switching for the spear. I think it is the bow giving Impala the upper hand in this game. Wrench goes a little bit too hard off stage. Oh! Punished, and the ground pound seals the fate for game one. Reminder, I'm pretty sure all of these sets on stream will be best of 5, so Wrench still has a good few more chances to prove his worth and to prove that he deserves his spot in top 8, but Impala's not making a bad case for himself so far.
Yeah, and if you look at the stats right now, you can actually see that Impala actually dealt more damage, or dealt less damage than he took, which just goes to show how efficient he has been with the stocks. That was probably due to the really, really quick Gimp that he got off the first stock, but that's just still goes to show that Impala, if he wants to get kills, he will do it really quickly. And now going on to this next game in the set, we're going down to the same map, same character picks as well, and Wrench is just trying to find any sort of way. Nice weapon throw into Blaster's side light coming out from Wrench there, and a nice dodge into the end light. He knew that was coming from a mile away, and he's just been dealing damage, doing absolutely crazy, and honestly, has just been really doing well.
So far, about a minute in is when Wrench is able to take the first stock. Impala was able to make that stock last a surprising amount of time considering just how deep he was dipping into the Crimson over there. But still, Impala could very, very well respond. Wrench still just giving him some pretty good damage with the guitars and also able to snag Blasters right out of from under Impala's hands. Not going to be picking up the spear anytime soon. Some unarmed damage is going to let Impala give himself the space for the bow. Not quite up with the recovery, but answers back with the Nair. And honestly, that's a pretty good way to cover your space. You throw out the recovery, it whiffs. You know, you could just toss out a Nair, maybe even a Sair or two to cover the space, making sure your opponent has a bit of a harder time getting punished on you. Impala's off stage and above ground gameplay with the bow has been looking pretty nice so far, but Wrench with the guitars, I mean, guitars are a good weapon in pretty much any game state, are they not?
Yeah, honestly, like once. Oh wait, you meant guitars. I was about to say bow for some reason. I'm not paying attention. Either way, yeah, you're right. In this sort of game mode, like guitars is actually a really, really good weapon and has been a good weapon for a pretty long time. But that bow is not much different from that, to be honest. But either way, nice Ensign coming out from Impala, getting that Ensign kill onto Wrench, taking the lead in this game. And I like how he's been managing to guard the weapon with these Nairs have just been deadly. And now he finally picks up the weapon, but not after Impala deals a bit of damage onto Wrench. He's trying to find any sort of dodgery, any sort of kill confirm. The side sig will do it. We're going down to last stocks. Again, these games have been pretty close so far.
The weapon that Wrenched chose to play out their last stock in this game right here was a very, very carefully made decision, because he needs to make sure that he can build up as much damage as he possibly can, and guitars would be a good way to start. But whether or not he's able to get the KO with guitars might be a harder question to ask. We might be seeing him swatch out to blasters. No, has guitars doubled down. I think he's just more focused on the weapon start than he is on the weapon. Punishes a unarmed dare with a GC D-Light on blasters. That is a move that I don't think you see used often, if ever. Although Pierre's been pretty creative with the way that he uses guitars. So although Wrench goes down 0-2, I think we could be seeing some pretty exciting guitar gameplay all throughout this stream.
And that's the second time in a row that we see it. Impala actually takes more damage than he deals. He's just been super efficient with these KOs, and if you look at the weapon damage, actually, he focused a lot more on the bow that game compared to the spear, and it seems to be working really well. He's just been catching Wrench with a lot of these moves, catching him with Ensig specifically, and he's just been dealing damage. These games have been getting incredibly close, but Impala both times have just been going out on top. And now if Wrench wants to take this, he has to do a reverse 3-0 in order to win the set. Do you believe he could do it? I mean, seeing how close these games have been getting, I think there's a good possibility. The double D-Sig.
I mean, also the fact that Wrench was able to hit the double D-Sig does kind of prove that he's getting in Impala's head a bit. So, although I wouldn't put money on it, I would definitely say that Wrench still has a few questions to answer on this test. I think he still has a good chance to pass.
Yeah, he does have a good chance, and I think from what I'm seeing, Wrench is trying to call out Impala on a lot more stuff than he did before. Like, I noticed a couple of times Impala has just been trying to go for a kill option. He tried to go for a ground pound. But now, off the side of the stage, whenever Impala's at the edge guard position, he's deadly. He's insane.
Very similar game state as last game, and Wrench is able to take the first stock yet again. Wrench just needs to hold on to this lead for a little bit longer than the last game if he wants to make sure that the 2-1 is just ever so slightly closer. Impala does have bow, and that's been doing some pretty good
That's 3
heavy lifting.
Chat, let's count
out the set. Person who's able to keep track throughout the entire tournament gets a resource avatar.
What? Huh? No one's promising anything. Okay, if you do keep count, no one's promising anything, but if you do, that's cool.
You gotta make sure our bases are covered with legal. We don't... That
we
was
have no
joke.
idea. Alright, either way, as we are down to the second stock in this game, Wrench, just like before, is maintaining a pretty good starting lead. And I think, oh my lord, the ground pound catching him so off guard, just randomly throwing it out off the side of the stage. He could tell that he was going to go for it, and because of that, he managed to get that ground pound KO onto Impala's second stock, and Now he's going to be trying to get third. I think what Wrench kind of struggles on whenever it comes to these games is whenever he gets the lead, I think he's starting to struggle to like maintain it. Like Impala, or at least on the other side, Impala's doing an incredibly good job to make sure he doesn't get a lead and does not add up more and more damage. But now this game, I think he's realized he's been trying his absolute best to like make sure that he can land a couple of these hits. And he already has him on orange approaching red on this final stock. Oh, he misses the D-Light recovery. That would have been it, but the kick away. Oh, please, please, please. That's incredibly dangerous. But the Nair coming out from Impala, getting that KO. Finally onto Wrench's second stock, and now he has a very, very good lead.
I mean, going back to something you said earlier, there is a weird kind of psychology with what I'll call the red stock lead. You are up a stock, but you're so heavily damaged that, you know, it'll just take one Axe and Light to try to pull that away from you. There's a very, very weird mental approach, or at least list of ways you can approach that. And we'll get into that a little bit later, because right now, what the most pressing issue is that Impala has evened out the damage, and it could just be one more bone nair before Wrench goes out and Dinner lowers, or it could be just one more D-Sig before Impala realizes that they have to fight for their food, and they really, really have to put in just another game or two to really seal their deal in top 8. On the ledge guard, Wrench is not quite able to pick it, but instead of going for recovery, chooses to let a side air carry him to a 2-1. Wrenched is still in it to win it.
Yeah, incredible job coming out for Wrenched, finally taking a game to his name against Impala, and now the reverse 3-0 could be a possibility. One thing I want to notice about tournaments is, or I want to like have everyone know, is game 3 is incredibly pivotal if one of the players is a 2-0. Because then if the one player that's down 0-2 manages to finally get a game, the momentum shifts so much over into his favor. And so much more, like, there's so much more pressure than you would think in, like, Impala's head. Like, hey, he won a game. He could win the next 2 and win the set. Impala just needs to win one more, but he can't let it, like, slide.
And I'm gonna go back to something that we mentioned a bit earlier with the red stock lead. You're probably in a very strange headspace for that, because if you can get KO'd at anything, what, one bone nair, one Axe and Light, I mean, how do you approach that? Do you completely over-aggress and try to expand your lead, or do you kind of hold back, make it hard for your opponent to hit you, slow down the game, stay defensive, and hold on to that stock? Do you try to gain the lead, or do you try to hold on to the stock? What is your opponent thinking? And then how do you respond to that? Do you know what your opponent expects? It's a very strange place to be in, but neither one of these players will be in that space. Or, I don't know, maybe one of these players will be in that space soon, because the game is immediately stepping up pace, and Wrench seems to just kind of be tossing his first stock around. The D-Sig is not going to work, and Wrenched is in the red stock lead, celebrating a bit with a little bit of a pivot dance you see there, but how will he respond? Just like we've noticed, he's been in the spot quite a bit, and he hasn't found the best of victories in this spot. We do see a bit of Meg D tech, which is dash jumping in and then dodging out, so we might be seeing him play a little bit more defensive, changing up his strategy for the red stock lead, and just letting Impala make any mistakes he needs to on his own. A worthy trade. Wrench sent Impala down to last stock, just a little over a minute in.
That was incredible coming out from Wrench, getting that gimp off the side of the stage. If only he made it back onto stage to make it a 3-stock-to-1 lead, but no, he managed to... Okay, Impala, you had me scared there. But now Wrench has such a good lead here, and a lot better of a chance to take this to game 5. But he can't let it go anymore, as Impala has turned up the pace, and immediately, with that D-Sig, brings this to a last stock situation. If Impala manages to take the stock from Wrenched, that means he will be moving on to the winner's top 8 side of things, a 3-1 victory over Wrenched. But Wrenched, with these blasters in hand, is not going to make it an easy trip. He's not going to make it an easy victory. He's been catching Impala with a bunch of these sidelights.
One also small thing to note, do you notice Impala's dash jump fast falls during that little stock break? Those were very tiny hops, very consistently. I think Impala immediately pumped it up, saying like, okay, you're in a very dangerous lead. You're shifting over the momentum. I gotta cut it. I've already done too much trolling as it is. I just gotta bring this game to sudden death and try and see if I can snag the 3-1 right here.
That was
good, but trying to stand up against Blasters is kind of hard because Blasters gets KO'd pretty efficiently.
No!
Is able to snag the DC and Sig and just completely throws out the ledge guard. Just invalidates the ledge guard. Rent goes down to the lower bracket.
Incredible job coming out from Impala, bringing that back even after being down a whole stock. He did incredible there, but that NSIG will confirm it. He is going on to the winner's top 8, a 3-1 victory over Wrenched, and he is going to be fighting the winner of our next match, which is going to be Radish versus Tiffany.